channel. I'm Serena if you guys are new here, and I post book content, lifestyle content, vlogs, motivational, productivity, like I just post kind of all the things. So yeah, welcome if you are new here. Today we're going to be doing a slightly different kind of goals video. I usually do kind of like a monthly reset, monthly wrap up. Today we're just going to be going over the books that I read in January. I did set some goals, and to be honest, I didn't hit them like at all. Like I'll just put my January goals up like over here, so I'll just like scoot over a little bit so you guys can see that, and that's okay. Like I didn't hit all my goals. Try again next month, it's fine. So one of the goals I did hit was reading, so I did want to talk about the books that I read. I read a total of 5 books in the month of January. One of them was a carryover from December to January, and I'm counting it as a January read. I have a list, pulling it up real quick in my notes. So I'm gonna be flipping back and forth between my notes app and Instagram, because Instagram's where I post all my reviews to give you guys like the star rating and all that stuff. The first book that I read was Always in December by Emily Stone. I probably should have put the authors in here. Yeah, by Emily Stone. This was so cute. I wasn't gonna read this one at first, but if you guys follow me or you're subscribed to my channel, you probably follow my friend Hunter. This is like her page here. I saw her reading this book and she spoke very highly of it, so I wanted to read it too. So she kind of like a book influenced me to read it, and it was so cute. It was so good. I was like really rooting for them. I don't remember, what was the main character's, this is like really bad. What's the main character's name again? I have it here, I know I do. Josie was her name. So I read this book a little while ago, so that's why I don't remember. I was definitely like frustrated at points, but upset at some points and rooting for them at some points. Like it was just a very emotional read. I had started it just after Christmas and finished it right after New Year's, and I am not a rom-com romance kind of reader, at least I didn't classify myself as. So picking this book up, this is the cover of it, I'll just show you guys. I was super nervous because most like contemporary romance books have this cover, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but I did really end up liking it. I gave it 3.5 stars. I knocked it. I think I have just like found it to be a little slow at the start, and I found it to be a little long. I think it could have been shortened. It is 406 pages. I definitely think it could have been shortened down to like 325, 350. Some of the details, were they important? Absolutely. But some of them weren't, and I feel like it could have just been condensed a little bit. I think this book saved me from going into a reading slump, so I do have to give it that, because I read this immediately after reading Where the Crawdads Sing and Verity. So coming off 2 very heavy hitters, this one was just enough. It was light, it was fun to keep me going. I was afraid I was gonna fall into a slump after reading Verity, but thankfully I didn't. So that's the first book I read. Then after that, I picked up, I'm trying to think of the order. There were 2 books I didn't finish, so I'm just trying to figure out whether they were before or after the next one. I think they were after. So the next book that I picked up was, I saw like my Kindle review, this book called Night Theater. I have no idea when I bought it, if I bought it, how it got on my Kindle. This is the cover. It looks like this. And this one was a little hard for me. It's definitely a different perspective. It's written by somebody that works in the medical industry, so some of the terminology was different. It also takes place in India, so I had to look up some of the clothes that they were wearing and where they were to kind of get a, the visual in my head on the culture, where it took place, the setting, just trying to picture it. This book, it's definitely a little creepy, I guess. It's definitely a little weird. Not trying to give spoilers, but it's basically about this guy that runs a clinic. He can't practice his medicine in the city, so he's got to take over this like nobody clinic. Like it's just like in a little town, and this family comes, and the family's dead. They're basically like the Walking Dead. The doctor has to basically do these crazy surgeries on them, try to save them before the sun comes up. So it is a one-day event, and you just get the details of every minute, every hour leading from like midnight, I guess, or 11 o'clock. I pictured it around 11 to the sunrise, which is about 5 or 6. I gave this one, I think I gave it 2 stars, because like I said, it took a little adjusting. I did appreciate a different point of view, a different culture, a different way of doing things, like getting the insights of what it is to be like a surgeon. But at the same time, I probably would not read this again. I did enjoy it. It was fast paced once I got really into it. It did start a little slow, but it built its way up. And I think it teaches a decent lesson. That was the next book I read. After that, I started The Last Guest by Tess Little. I did not finish it. I just couldn't get into it. It was a Hollywood party. There was this couple, they were exes and they were there, but then the husband died and they were trying to figure out, like, it was like one of those whodunit situations. I just couldn't get into it. I don't know. So I did not finish that. It went back to the library. And then I started this book called Siri, Who Am I? Which was really cute. It was really fun. It's about this girl that gets into a big accident. She loses her memory, so she has to like constantly ask Siri like what her name is and piece her life back together. So the only reason why I really did not finish Siri, Who Am I? Is because I got my first book of the month box, and in that box had Reckless Girls and The Lost Apothecary. So I read Reckless Girls instead. And because Siri, Who Am I was a library book, the due date was coming up, so I was just like, all right, I'll take this out when I don't have too many physical books that I own to read. Like, I would still go back and read that book 100%. The next book I read was Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. I gave this one 3.5 stars. It was your adventurous thriller, unputdownable. I really enjoyed this book up until the end. I did not like the end at all. I did not see it coming, but once it came, I was let down. I was, so annoyed by the ending of that book. And I've heard great things about The Wife Upstairs, so I do own that and I do want to give it a read. But yeah, Reckless Girls, just the ending let me down. And I really did enjoy the whole idea of them going on this adventure, going to this deserted like island and having to all fend for themselves. So think of like Survivor, kind of, but people are vacationing and then everybody kind of teams up on each other. That's basically this book. So I did give it 3.5 stars. Like I said, I would still recommend it. I probably have a very unpopular opinion about the ending of it, or let me know what you thought in the comments below if you did read Reckless Girls. After Reckless Girls, I did take a couple days off and just kind of like process the ending, trying to like make something out of it. But then Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover was delivered at my doorstep, and it was pub day. I dropped everything to read that book. I didn't get the Amazon delivery until about like 3, 4 in the afternoon, but thankfully Miss Colleen Hoover put it on Kindle Unlimited and I downloaded it to my Kindle immediately and just like read right into it. I finished it in a day and a half, 2 days. Very quick read just because I was so like invested in the characters and the story. Just, I wanted to know, I needed to know what happened. So I gave Reminders of Him 5 stars. I think Colleen Hoover is officially one of the few authors that I'll automatically like buy her book. I have a couple on my Kindle because they were on Kindle Unlimited, but I'll probably end up getting the physical ones too. Her books are just so good. I highly recommend checking any of her books out, from Reminders of Him to Verity to, I've heard great things about Ugly Love and November 9 too, which I have not read it yet, but I do want to read those as well. But Reminders of Him, I did give 5 stars. That's all I really have to say about that one. It speaks for itself. I mean, I'm not gonna like give you guys spoilers or anything like that. Next, I read Weather Girl by Rachel Lynn Solomon. She's the one that also wrote the X Talk. So this one takes place at a weather station, and I thought this book was so cute. Like I said, I guess I'm not really like having these reservations anymore, but I did have a reservation because I did see like rom-com, chick flick, like contemporary romance. I was nervous to read it, but it was so good. Like, I had so much fun reading it. I thought it was funny. I thought like just the plot kept you wondering like, oh, what's gonna happen next? So I did read that. I think I gave it 4 stars, 3 stars. Let's see. I did give it 4 stars. I did take off 1 star just because I was just a little frustrated with how quickly characters' feelings would turn, and I wish there was a little more explanation or like thoughts. Like, I would love to see like Russell's perspective. Like, I wish it would have flipped back and forth like that between. That was my only little gripe with that one. Otherwise, I thought it was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then while I was reading Weather Girl, I also started 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. I just finished this book last night, so it did not count towards my January reads, but I did start it in January, so I figured why not talk about it. This book was so good. I gave it 5 stars. I loved this book. This probably will turn me into a romance reader, not gonna lie. The plot drew you in, you just wanted to know, and it's a strong female lead as character, and she's a single mom, and she's raising her kid, and she's writing all these books, and it just felt so real. and raw, and I wish there was like a movie or TV show to go along with it because I feel like it would make a great show. So yeah, it didn't count towards my January reads, but I did start it in January, so I wanted to talk about it. But yeah, those are my January reads. For February, I guess I can give you guys some insight into what I'm going to be reading. For February, I have no particular order. These aren't in any particular order. So 7 Days in June is counting towards a February read. I'm also reading The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, I think is her last name. I'm not too far into that yet, only about 50 pages or so. It's been a little busy, so I have to catch up with that one. What else am I gonna read? I am gonna try to read It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I think I'm going to have my heart broken and put on the floor and just that whole cycle over and over again when I read that one. What else am I reading? I'm like looking over there because that's where my book stack is. Oh, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. That is going to be one that I'm reading this month. And finally, so that I could stop getting comments on my Bookstagram, I am going to start reading A Court of Thorns and Roses. So I was going to dedicate February to reading that entire series, or as much as I can in February, but there's just other books I want to read, and I'm very much so your typical mood reader. So like if I'm not in the mood to read A Court of Thorns and Roses because that's fantasy, I'm gonna want something that's like romance or thriller or sci-fi or whatever. That's what I'm looking to read. Oh, and The Maid by Nita Prose, I think is her last name. I think so. I'm reading that for the book club that I'm in. Yeah, those are all my reads. I think that's like 6 or 7 books. I think it's doable. I'm not going to be upset if it doesn't work out that way because I'm still kind of new to reading like 5 books, 6 books a month. That's almost like a book every 4 days or something like that. If I don't hit my goal, that's fine. If I do hit it, that's also fine. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. If you want to keep up with the reviews and the books I'm reading, this is my Bookstagram. You guys can follow me there. I know I don't talk about it very often, but you guys can follow me there. If you want to just know what's going on in like my personal life and just like vlogs and what's going on outside of books, you can follow me here. Here's my other account. That's gonna be it for this video, you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm changing up my videos for February. I'm just gonna experiment a little bit, so I hope you guys enjoy them. I'm gonna be doing weekly vlogs instead of daily vlogs. And then the other day that I upload is going to probably be book content because it's what I'm into right now. So I would just want to like give you guys always what I'm into, what I'm doing. Be on the lookout for weekly vlogs and book content. Those are going to be the 2 main things on my channel with some other sprinkles of fun things here and there. That's going to be it, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.